So we're getting started. Also, we are live on Facebook. Just wanted to let you know there's a group called the Seattle Real Estate Community. If you're interested in joining, you can feel free to join that as well. And now, just kind of wanted to take this opportunity to go on the topic. Second, I hope you're able to see my screen. Just in case you're not able to see it, you can let me know. So I get a lot of questions on people who actually wanted to know about inspection, what you should expect in inspection, and the things you should be actually looking at when you're actually doing inspection. All these things are really important. So that is something I really highly recommend, kind of like, you know, looking into when you're actually going through the inspection reports. So people get a lot of questions on that. So I just wanted to kind of like introduce myself, like why I qualified to, do this presentation. I always take 2 minutes to kind of tell a little bit about myself. I'll try to be quick on this one. So I've started real estate about 5 years ago with flipping houses, spent a lot of money on education. I made a lot of money, lost a lot of money, but one of the reasons I actually had lost a lot of money because of the realtors that I was working with. They lacked many qualities, which was that they didn't have proper knowledge on disclosures, negotiating terms. The realtors that I was working with did not have enough time to actually respond to my phone calls, text messages, and also they were not proactive enough, and were not able to make quick offers. So those are some of the things that the realtors actually lacked that I was working with. If actually they had all this knowledge, it would have been a lot more easier for me to be successful in the real estate. And most of the real estate agents, I mean, it's not their fault. They're actually writing exams. They're learning a lot of theory. They don't know about flipping homes and all that. So when I was an investor working with realtors, it was a very difficult time that I was having to, because they were not able to help me out in all of those things. And um, another thing was they lacked patience. I mean, if I want to see a whole bunch of homes, they don't want to show me all these homes because they don't have enough time, because they get tired about that, and they were not enough experienced, and they lacked passion. They didn't have like passion. They didn't want to help people because they have genuine interest in real estate. And also, sometimes they would suggest me homes that had problems because they just wanted to get their commission and this, make the sale. That was another problem as well. When I was working with realtors, they used to push me to buy a property that I did not want to buy. And they didn't explain me the home buying process. There were a whole bunch of things that they didn't do a good job when I was trying to buy a home. So the subtopics that I will actually cover is pre-inspection done by seller, pre-inspection done by buyer, inspector mindset and all that. So one of the reason I do this presentation is because I finally got the license, to actually be a realtor of my own a few years ago, and since then I've been helping the community people with regards to answering all these questions, and that is one of the reason I actually started doing presentations so that I can spread my knowledge to other people and educate them with regards to everything that they need to know about the home. Sometimes seller do pre-inspection, and why they do pre-inspection. And one of the things I did for my presentations is I try to put as less content as possible, so that you don't pay attention to the content. Instead, you pay attention to what I'm talking about. The content is just to like keep the flow. This presentation is just to like keep me on track with what I want to talk. So the major issue was when actually we are buying a home and there are like 100 buyers looking at the home. They all wanted to get inspection done. So what the seller does, they hire an inspector, and an inspector will actually come and do an inspection report. And then the seller will fix majority of the problems that are in the inspection report, and then we'll ask the inspector to come back again and do an inspection, and the inspector will come back again, will do an inspection, and then they will find less problems because the seller will fix majority of the problems. What that does is that allows the buyer to actually look at all the issues that actually were there, all the issues that the seller fixed, the issues that are remaining. So that will actually save the time for the buyer. So the sellers actually do pre-inspection and upload that pre-inspection report on the website, so that all the buyers can look at it. And this will also expedite the process. So if there is already a pre-inspection report that is done by the seller, it's easier for us to take a look at it so that you can make a proper decision. If there are a lot of problems on the report, then you can tell that, hey, you know what, there are too many problems. I don't want to buy this home. So it makes process easier. Second thing is pre-inspection done by the buyer. Why does buyer does pre-inspection before making an offer? Usually buyers do inspection after the offer gets accepted. But sometimes what happen in that, when the market is very competitive and there are a lot of buyers making offers, um, what happens is that, you know, um, most of the people will actually not like, um, um, when somebody makes an offer subject to inspection, right? So buyers do inspection before making an offer, and they get a better understanding about the property, how the property is, and then they will make an offer without putting inspection contingency in it. Because when you put an inspection contingency in an offer, the offer will become a little bit weaker. The reason the offer becomes weaker is the offer, the buyer can back out of the contract if there is an inspection time on it. So if the inspection time has been removed, the buyer will not back out of the contract. The buyer will actually continue to move forward. So that's why the buyer will do pre-inspection before they make an offer. But after doing an inspection, the buyer submits an offer, but the offer gets defeated by another buyer whose offer is higher. Then you will lose the money that you spend in inspection. So that is one risk of that. But pre-inspection will give buyer all the information the buyer need to know before buying the house, because buyer will take their inspector to the property and get it inspected before making an offer. So that is pre-inspection that usually buyer gets done before. And one thing most people don't understand, what is the mindset of an inspector? Okay, find a, the one thing the inspector wants to do is find as many problems as he can. It's not because he want to scare the buyers, because he feels if there is a problem in the house and he doesn't finds out about it, doesn't tell about that to the buyer, he feels like he didn't do a good job. Another thing is, let's say for an example, if the inspector goes into the home, spends 2 hours, does not find any problems, and comes out and tells to the buyer, you need to pay me $500, there are no problems in the house, the buyer will say, come on man, I mean, you should have found something. I mean, then what am I paying for, right? So the inspector will actually try to find problems so that he can tell the buyer, hey, see, you know what, I did a lot of work, I found all these problems. Sometimes in the IT world there is a QA tester where if he doesn't find problems, he's not been appreciated. The more problems the QA person finds, the more appreciation he gets. Like, man, look at that, this software had so many issues, I really appreciate you finding all these problems, right? That's how it is in the inspector as well. Second thing is, he want to genuinely make the buyer aware of all the major problems that the property have. Imagine if inspector doesn't find out a major problem, the buyer buys the home and then finds a major problem, then he's going to be very upset that this inspector didn't do a good job. He's going to write a bad review for the inspector, try to sue the inspector that he didn't do a good job. So, the inspector wanted to do a good job by making the buyer aware of all these things. Inspectors also want to make long and explicit reports, including major and minor problems. But if major and minor problems doesn't exist in the home, he will at least try to make some recommendations. Like for an example, if water heater lifespan is 15 years and it's been already 13 years, even though the water heater is really good, he will still say, hey, you know what, I would recommend that you fix it. That's called a recommendation. I would recommend that you replace it even though it's working fine, so that you don't have any problems in future. That's like the inspector mindset. Second thing is, I want to talk to you about a whole bunch of things that are major problems. The one thing is mold is actually a very major problem because mold is have a big history of it. It's not just like you can paint on top of that and it will be fixed. Mold is being caused by a moisture that is being formed behind the wall. And why is that moisture being formed? Because of a leak or anything that is causing water to come inside. And the causes of the mold is leaks. When the leaks are coming from the windows, leaks are coming from the walls and other places, and the mold will come. So, some sellers, they will just paint the home even if there is a mold, and they will sell it. The buyer will come later on to find out about the mold. And if the buyer sees the mold in the home that the seller did not disclose it in the disclosures, the buyer can go back to the seller and ask for more money to fix it if they didn't disclose about it. Okay, so the best way to repair the mold is you have to remove the sheetrock, remove the insulation, fix all the mold, and then you have to fix the leak as well. Then do the sheetrock and then do the paint again. That's how you actually fix the mold. But people try to take shortcuts. They will just paint the home and sell it, which is not good for the buyer. So that is something you should be aware of. Second thing is there are good roofs and there are bad roof, right? The one on the right is a good one. The one on the left is a bad one. So the roof that is good, it have like the shingles, they are being in aligned position. The one on the left, you can see they're curling up, right? That is something you can say it's a bad roof, right? So you can just take a look at it. But sometimes inspectors have drones, which they fly on top of the home, which take pictures of the chimney, which take pictures of the roof, of the shingles, any spots, any holes, any major damage that is being caused by hail or anything like that, that will be captured in those pictures. So this is something you should be aware of because the roof cost $30,000, and every time you replace a roof, the roof will last anywhere between 20 to 40 years, depending on how good the quality is and how it's been installed. You can buy the best roof in the world, but you hire the worst contractor, then the roof is not going to last for more than 5 years. The shingles will come off. So you have to hire a good contractor, you have to get a good roof in order for your roof to stay longer. Second thing is roof replacement is actually cost a lot of money, as I said, up to $30,000. It's not easy. All the shingles need to be, um, all the shingles need to be um, replaced on top of that. And one thing I would like to say, if anyone have joined the meeting a little late, they don't have to worry about it. There are few places where they can actually, um, you know, search for the meeting. One is on Facebook, and I will also send a recording to the WhatsApp group as well. So another thing is, this is actually foundation. I actually had to replace the title. So this is foundation problem, where foundation have cracks. Then you shouldn't buy the home. And it's not easy to fix the foundation. If the foundation have cracks, then the cracks will also come in the walls because the walls will go up and down. So that is another problem as well. Fixing foundation problems are not easy. It's tough. Sometimes you have to replace the wall and fix the entire thing. You have to go really, really deep. The thing on the right hand side, it's a temporary fix, but the left hand side, what the guy is doing is a permanent fix of the foundation. So foundation problems can cost a lot of money, and and it's not easy to actually fix it. So whenever you found a problem in the foundation, I would highly recommend you don't buy that home until you have an expertise um, in fixing the foundation, or you have a contractor who you trust will say that I'll fix it for a cheaper price. So do not buy the homes if there are foundation problems. That's I would recommend all the time. Now I've talked about all the major problems: foundation, the roof, the mold, and all these things, and everything that actually you need to know about the how. But now you're gonna say, Abdul, come on, man! Like you talked to me about so many different problems that the inspection would have. I mean, how do I make a decision if I should buy a home or not? Because inspectors are going to show me a lot of problems that are in the home. Inspectors will show each and every small little thing. Let's say If there's a closet knob is loose, he'll tell you the knob is loose. If there is a paint scratch, he will tell you the paint have a scratch there, or the window have this thing. So they will try to tell you as many problems as you can. But what you can do is you can divide the inspection report into major problems and minor problems. Most of the time, the inspection report will have 99% of the problems as minor issues. So you ignore the minor issues, which are minor issues like maybe a knob is loose, or a light fixture is a little bit loose or something like that, or a fire alarm doesn't have a battery in it, you can replace the battery. Focus on the major problems that I just talked about, right? Foundation, roof replacement, things of that sort. If there are major mechanical issues, like if there is plumbing or electrical or things of that sort, are also major. I mean, what I gave was just few examples of major problems. Like when the buyers work with me, I look at the inspection report for them, because I have expertise in buying and selling homes, fixing homes, flipping homes. I am actually pretty good at reading the reports, and I will make them suggestions if they should proceed to buy or not. If you found major problems in the home, then you can negotiate with the seller, asking them to reduce the price. Um, and those major problems, I would say, like roof and mold and things of that sort, you can negotiate with the seller. But if you actually found issues in the foundation, I would recommend do not buy the property. I mean, it's actually major, but let's say the seller is going to give you $50,000 discount, and you found a contractor who said he can fix it for under $50,000, then you can buy that home. So that is something I would recommend. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions. You could also reach me on my Facebook, on my cell, text me, WhatsApp me if you have any questions. I will be able to help you answer it. Yeah, it looks like there are no questions. So I will go ahead and end the call. But if there are any questions, you can let me know. Um, and then we can go from there.